So today we are doing 11.6 of further graphing of quadratic functions. So for this type of questions, you're going to be given quadratic function in this form. So you're given it in this form and we want to convert. So we want to make this function look like this. So we're going from to this. So we want to make this look like this. So in order to do that, we're going to complete the square. Why do we want it like this? Because from here we know that the vertex is HK. And we know this is a y-intercept. For some reason on the example they solve for it, but if it's already given to you, here, just go with it. Let me double check the other one. Okay. So I know the y-intercept would be the y-intercept would be negative 12, so 0, negative 12. But let's find this form using that. So I'm going to make this a y instead of an f of x. So I'm going to make that y equals x squared minus 4x minus 12. So I'm going to complete the square. So remember step 1 from completing the square was to check coefficient, so it's good. So this is check coefficient, and then step 2 was to solve for this one, so we need to bring this one over to the other side. Oh, iso variable. So let's put it like this. In this case, we're not going to have a 0 for this. We're going to keep the y. So we're going to add 12. So we're going to have y plus 12 on this side, and we're going to have x squared minus 4x. So here, this is where we complete the square. Complete the square. So you're going to grab this number, remember? This one. So it has two steps. So step A, negative 4 times 1/2, it's equal to negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So this is 1. The B would be to grab that and then square it. Square it. Negative 2 squared would be positive 4. That one? Okay, after that, remember we need to do step 4, which is add the 4 to both sides. And factor. So we're going to add 4 to this one. So we're going to have y plus 12 plus 4 is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. So this is just the 4 that I got here. And then we're going to simplify this side, so it would be 12 plus 4 would be 16. And then we're going to factor this side. So x, and this is going to be minus 2 and minus 2, right? Because we're going to use that number. We're using this number already here. So let's bring it over, way over here. We're gonna need some space. So from here we have y plus 16 is equal to x minus 2 squared. And this is where we bring this one to the other side. So we don't need to solve here. So step 5 doesn't apply to this one. We don't solve. Well, we kind of solve for y. So well, not solve for y, but we try to iso y. So let me, I should write that. We iso now the y, this one. So we bring the 16 to this side. Y equals minus 2 squared minus 16. Okay, so now we can find the vertex. So the vertex is there, so that means this number and that number would be, this would be the h and the k. Negative 16, like that. So that would be the vertex. What else do we need to graph? So we have the y-intercept. We need, this is the other step that we need the x-intercepts. We need the y-intercept, which we have. But I'm gonna do like the book has it, but for some reasons they didn't use that one. So to find the x-intercepts, remember y equals 0. So we iso the y here. So we're gonna use this one. We're gonna use this one. And we're gonna make y equals 0. So for when finding x-intercepts, y will equal 0. So we're gonna do 0 here. And here we're gonna have to solve. Oh, but they use the original, but I'm gonna keep using this one. So plus 16. So it's going to be for the 0. So 16 is equal to x minus 2 squared. So here you would have to take the square root. That. And so 4 plus minus is equal to x minus 2, so plus 2 plus 2. So 2 plus minus 4 is equal to x. So this has two answers. 2 plus 4 will give you 6. 2 plus 4 gives you 6. And 2 minus 4 gives you negative 2. And these are the answers for the x's. So x is equal to that. And x is equal to that. These are the x-intercepts. For the y-intercepts, so this is where we're going to use the same one. So I'm just going to use the same one. So we're going to make x equals 0 in this case. So x is equal to 0. So it would be y equals 2, so 0 here, minus 2 squared minus 16. So y equals, it would be negative 2 squared minus 16. So this would be 4 minus 16. This would give you negative 12, which is the original here, like I So this is a y-intercept. So now we have the vertex, we have the x-intercepts, and we have the y-intercept. So now I think the book wants you guys to graph it. So we have everything here. So just remember, this is the x, this is the y. Well, it doesn't look like that. So this is x and this is y. So vertex would be 2, negative 16. So positive 2, negative 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it should be somewhere down here. We don't have enough space. So negative 16. And then the x-intercepts would be at 6, positive 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here. And negative 2, 1, 2, here. And y-intercept, so this is a y-axis. It would be on this line, the y-intercept. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right here. So let me label them in case you need them. So this would be, this is a y-intercept. It's 0, negative 12. This is a vertex, which is 2, negative 16. And this one is not going to show. Let's see what I can write. This would be the x-intercept would be 6, 0. This is the x-intercept, 6, 0. And this is the other x-intercept. And it's negative 2, 0. So we have everything that we need to graph. So all you have to do now is connect the dots with the line, making a parabola. That's how the graph looks. Just remember, these are the x-intercepts. Okay, so that's example. Wow, that was one example. Let me do the other example in the same video. So example 2 would be graph again, this one, and it's the same process as the other one. The only difference here, we're gonna, let me actually do it. So again, we need to make this look like this. X minus h squared plus k. So we wanted this, we wanted to look like that. So in order to do that, so I'm gonna make that a y instead of f of x. In order to do that, first we're gonna bring this one over to this side. Minus 1. So y minus 1 equals 3x squared plus 3x. So remember step 1 and I'm gonna put step 1 here. And step 2. So this is where you check this number and then you we already isolated. So that one's already done. But we need to check that number and we need to actually take it out. We need to take it out as a GCF. So we're not dividing the whole thing by 3. We just GCFing because we wanna make it look like this. So if you notice it has an A right next to a parenthesis, and we GCF this one, that 3 would become this A. So it's not like completing the square exactly. We're not exactly completing the square. We're completing the square one part of this, and I'll show you what it is. So here, this would just cancel out, so you would have x squared. This would cancel out, and you would just have x, like that. Okay. So now this is where we complete the square of this part. So we're complete square. So it has two steps. It has the A, which is, so this is a 1 times the 1/2, which equals 1/2, and then it has the B part. I'll do it down here. So I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make it green this time. And it has, so 1/2 square would be the B part. That gives me 1/4. That would be the blue number. That. So what are we supposed to do here? So we completed the square. So this 1/4 goes inside here. So there's one very important step here that might be a little bit confusing. Yeah, let me copy it again so that way you see what's going on. Okay, so that 1/4, this is the fourth step where we add the 1/4 to both sides. And we're going to factor. So this would be the blue number. So we're going to add, it here first. But this is the confusing part, but I know you guys can get it. We're going to add 1/4 here. So we completed this square. But in reality, we have a 3 here. We have a 3. So we're actually adding 3 times that to this side. You want to keep the balance, because this is inside the parentheses, this one. If we just add the 1/4, we're going to be missing that 3 here. So it's very important that you guys notice that. Because inside the parentheses, if you were to take it out or distribute that 3, we are actually adding here. We are adding 3. So 3 times the 1/4. So this is the tricky part, because you can't add this one over here because we have that 3 outside. So in order to add this one here, you would have to carry that one too, because if you notice the distributing, that makes sense. Just copy what I do when you do this example. So here you would have -1 plus 3/4. If you add these two, -1 plus 3/4 would be -1/4. I'm not gonna do the math. You guys do it on the calculator if you guys want. And then over here, this is where we're gonna have to factor this part here. So they're using x. So remember, what's the factor? It's always this one that we had originally, plus 1/2 plus 1/2. So plus 1/2 plus 1/2. 4 equals 3 x plus 1/2 squared. So that's what we have. Now we are almost, well, we almost make it look like that. What are we missing? So we have the a, which is the 3. We have this inside the parentheses. We have the square. We just need the k. There might be a chance that sometimes you won't have a k. In this case, we just have to move this one over to find that exact form, the vertex form. This is called the vertex form. This is the vertex form. So y would be equal, so this becomes 0. 3x plus 1/2 squared plus 1/4. Now we have that form. Plus 1/4. So we can find the vertex now. The vertex would be these two numbers. This is the h. When you do the opposite of this sign, remember I told you, so you would have, so remember this, it has a negative originally. The original vertex form has a negative. So if you see a positive, that means that number has to be a negative. Just do the opposite. That one stays the same. That's a vertex. So what do we need now? We need the x-intercepts, like the other one. So we need the x-intercepts, and we need the y-intercepts, even though we have it. So for the x-intercept, y equals 0. For the y-intercept, x is equal to 0. And you can use this one, or you can use the original with the y instead of the f of x. So this would be the original. You can use that and make that y, like we did here, and then make that y 0. But I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to use this one. See how that goes. So I'm going to use, so y would be 0, so I'm going to put 0 for the y. 3x plus 1/2 squared plus 1/4 for this one. And this one I'm going to make the x 0. So y equals 3, 0 plus 1/2 squared plus 1/4. So here I'm going to bring this one over to this side. So we got negative 1/4 is equal to 3 x plus 1/2 squared. So from here, let me see what happened here. So here I'm going to divide by 3. So I'm dividing this by 3. I'm dividing this by 3. So this cancels. So x plus 1/2. So if we continue doing this, I know I might get an imaginary number. I can see it now. So this would be 3 times, so negative 1 over 12. And this one has a square. If I square it, yeah, that comes out and we got this. But we got the square root of a negative number. So that means there's no real solutions. So in other words, there are no x-intercepts. So instead we're going to try to find this one. Even though it's a 1, but to do it, so y equals 3, so 1/2 here squared plus 1/4. So 1/2 square would just be 1/4. So this is just 3 times 1 is 3/4 plus 1/4. So y is 4 over 4, which y equals 1. So the y-intercept is 0, 1. Like we said, it's already here. So I don't know what to make it do it. So now we can graph. Even though it's going to be one of those weird graphs. Let me see. Yeah, it's going to be one of those weird ones. So we have everything that we need. So there's no x-intercepts. The y-intercept is this, and we have the vertex. So if you guys notice, let's find the vertex. So it's negative 1/2. So this is the x-axis. This is the y. So negative 1/2 would be here. And 1/4. Here it doesn't touch the x-axis. It's right there, above the line, above the x-axis. And then the y-intercept would be 0, right here. So this one has to touch it because they have to be symmetrical. So the graph goes like this. So there's no x-intercepts. It just has a vertex. The vertex would be this. And we have a y-intercept, which is 0, 1. That's it. That's it for this one. So this is question example 2. I'm gonna stop the video.